And unless a natural leader then will never be able to emerge. I hope I've made that point. We can improve civic education for the youth, which will foster the understanding of democratic principles, human rights, and the importance of active citizenship. We can also increase the number of leadership development programs available to the youth that will enhance their leadership skills, that will also improve their critical thinking abilities and problem-solving capacities, and empower them to assume leadership roles in governance. Further, we can have a mentoring and intergenerational dialogue that connects youth with experienced mentors, and that facilitates intergenerational dialogue to be able to promote knowledge transfer and foster youth's engagement. I hope Gen Z will also take that kindly. Yes, you also need a bit of mentoring. Nobody in the world has monopoly of knowledge. And you know, you come in armed with a lot of energy, and some of us able to sit and say, wait a minute, I think you can moderate this approach or that approach. And this is why they are saying Kenyans are also saying, because I heard that from Alex Matere, that they don't want dialogue. I'm going to mention later on that I was chair of a dialogue committee called the National Dialogue Committee. I co-chaired with a member for Kikuyu, not very far from here, who finds it extremely difficult to go home. Imagine my co-chair can't hold a meeting in his own constituency, because people went to visit him. They visited him in such large numbers that he didn't have enough tea to give them. Dialogue must also be in consonance with the reality, the political reality, that there's nothing wrong with having dialogue, but Kenya, we had building bridges and with the BBI building dialogue. So that conversation, I think, is important, and I want to invite all of us to think of the best approach and the timing. First of all, who is going to lead this dialogue and when? And are we going to take into account what has already happened before? A family that sits together and negotiates and to proceed even as a family makes headway. But we cannot just bluntly say we don't want any dialogue. The people of South Sudan, I saw the name Garang. That name is very, very important, very special to me, because I worked with our late brother, Dr. John Garang, who actually fathered the state of Southern Sudan. I can see that by consensus, through some process of dialogue, they have even agreed to extend the interim period for another 1 year. And then they can have an election. And that was, I'm told, an agreement across the political parties and leaders. And I saw President Salva Kiir saying, at his age, he doesn't want to continue leading that country forever. Now that is show of statesmanship. Well, as involved engagement is vital in encouraging youth to use social media platforms responsibly for civic education, engagement, information dissemination, and community mobilization. Let me take this moment to focus on the importance of youth political party wings in fostering inclusive democracy and thereby enhancing the role of youth in governance. Many political parties, particularly in Kenya, and there are very many, we are not short of them. By the way, what you have seen here as leaders, people representing political parties, is just a tip of the iceberg. We have 90 political parties. But sometimes then we also taken the initiative, I'm sure, to coalesce around coalition making. I think coalition is very important. Democratic Action Party, he gave me the greetings of his party leader, Mheshimiwa Eugene Wamalwa, and I should have given you his because I was speaking to him as I was coming, because I don't know who gave whose greetings, because to manage a coalition, you must be constantly in communication. My own party, and I want to recognize these two young people, Edwin Musembi, the chairperson, University chapter of WIPA, and there's Moses Mulu, a youth leader from Nakuru County, right? They actually confronted, I remember that Edwin confronted us yesterday in the NEC meeting. You know, they are not waiting. These Gen Zs are not waiting. They just came and said, we demand our space. For a start, you people must expel one man called Farah Maalim. Hey, that's my deputy party leader. That was a demand, an express demand, because if a leader can say, if I was president, I'll kill 5,000 in a day. Well, I'm quite sure my deputy would say that was a slip of the tongue. Because that was a very serious statement. We, as political parties, we need to be able to save lives, not to do away with them. So political parties in Kenya, in the region, I mean, looking at Uganda, for example, our friends from Uganda, from Tanzania, I know that President Kagame is going through an election in Rwanda. I talked about South Sudan, and I know that, yeah, Somalia has joined the new kid in the bloc within the East African region. And the day Somalia will be able to have political party organization and management of their country will be stable. Right now, the formations are in the form of 2-3 main clans, the Hawiyas and the Darots, and another one called 0.5 of a clan. Yeah, and then, because they're all Somalis, they're all Muslims, but because they come from different sub-clans, they were unable to even live together. But that Somalia, that country is making tremendous progress, and that's why she's been able to be welcomed as a member of East African Community. Of course, it's Burundi. 7 members of East African Community. If we have a standard approach to political party formation and the engagement of our youth, I repeat, the time for the African lion to arise is now, and this is going to be led by the youth of Africa. If the political elite then truly take the youth seriously, we must quickly provide places for them at the table. If you don't provide, they will demand and they will take it. Our youth need to have an impact on party policy formulation and leadership selection, because they may provide a new perspective on potentially outdated policies and ideas, including even the very important matter of what political parties stand for. Are you central? Are you left of the left? Are you right of the right? As is happening elsewhere in Europe. Look at what is happening in the elections recently in the UK, where Labour are to sweep back to power. Swept off the Conservatives, because Conservatives are by their very nature right. But in France, President Macron had to very quickly assemble everybody, say the rightists are taking over, because they took over the selection or election process to the European Parliament. A lot of things are happening across the world. Look at the world's largest democracy in India, where even Prime Minister Modi had to do something to stabilize the country. Now, we are all watching what's happening in America. You saw the debate between former President Donald Trump and President Biden. So, no, I'm not quite sure whether Kenyans should follow that example, the way they conduct elections in America. They call each other names. I saw Trump calling President Biden Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe. And they say, this guy, that guy. Yeah? But that is the extent of expression. Therefore, I think we have come to a stage in Africa where the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech should not be hindered. Provided, of course, you are guided by the laws of the land, which say if you abuse me very badly, I can also go to court. That should guide conduct. But beyond that, there should be expression. And the Gen Zs have said there will never be fear in this country. And I want to suggest that African countries express themselves freely. Absolutely freely. I am just about to conclude. Kenyans who are amongst you will have seen that I was at the word. We call it Kenyatta International Conference Center 2 days ago. When the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission IB Amendment Act 2024 was signed into law by President Ruto. This was the first fruit of the 9 legislations agreed upon by the National Dialogue Committee. I did mention that I was a co-chair. As you may recall, NADCO actually was set up last year following the killing again by police gunfire of 75 young men and women during the Maandamano demonstrations against the peaceful demonstrations in 2024, the result, the Gen Z revolution. Although my political party is called Wiper Democratic Movement, I can tell you that dictators will be wiped out by youths, not in Kenya, but in Africa. So I think the name of my party is becoming a lot more relevant. Wiping out corruption, wiping out dictatorship, wiping out opulence. You know, Kenyans are amazing. They even look at the way you have stolen their money and you are wearing expensive suits. They even, I think, able to Google and see which shops you bought these things from. This minister must remain nameless. But I saw a minister when I was waiting to come here. a cabinet minister in William Ruto's government. And she told me, shockingly, that our own daughter was in the demonstrations against our mother and against our president. This is a Kenyan thing. The youth are saying, well, even if you're in that government, Mama, I'm sorry, I'm out. We are getting our destiny. We will not allow our country to go to the dogs. And she said, we have all learned our lessons in humility, thanks to Gen Z. No Kenyan will go about showing off what kind of car you are driving, what watch, what shoes you wear. Yes, they're saying, wait, and it's so biblical. They've even put order in churches. Nobody will go carrying 20 million shillings in a church function and donate it. They'll be asked by Gen Z, wait a minute, we know your salary. Look at the order that this, within just under 1 month, what has happened in our country. More importantly, Gen Z have shown Kenya, the region, the continent, and the world how youth-inspired active participation through representation, education, innovation, and policy reforms can bring democratic ideals to life, resulting in the defeat of authoritarian practices. I believe that if we are to realize any of our visions, be it Vision 2030, as in Kenya, or Agenda 2063, which is Africa's blueprint and master plan for transforming Africa into the global powerhouse of the future, then our youth must have their seats at the table today, not tomorrow. Now, not in 2030 or in the imagined 2063. That's too long to wait. In conclusion, it is imperative, ladies and gentlemen, to invest in youth development and create opportunities for their meaningful participation in decision-making processes, ensuring that their voices are not only heard, but acted upon. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Another round of applause for him.
Another member of my party has just joined us, a member of parliament, but he voted no. A member for Embakasi South, the Honorable Julius Mawathe. Thank you for coming. Thank you. So he has no visitors to his constituency.
It's okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Now, Karibu Mheshimiwa Mawathe. Mheshimiwa Mawathe is a member of parliament in the National Assembly from Embakasi South. Our ED Alex told me this morning
out in confidence and try Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Body Lotion.
All
now
the delegates who are coming from other countries in Africa,
the African Leadership
will be
University
taking them to a
embarked
tour
on the second cohort of the Silicon
so
Valley
Alex,
Globe.
one of the areas that you might want them to visit is Embakasi South, so that they can experience the type of environment of Embakasi South where no is a no. Now, I want to take this opportunity to invite one of the ladies delegates from Cameroon, but before I do that, we will moderate the next session. Your Excellency, the expectations of these young people is that they want to engage you shortly before you leave. These young people, I've worked with some of them in the political parties and in other organizations. They say that they are very happy about Kenya, because Kenya is one of the countries in the world that has dedicated a whole article in the Constitution to to address issues of concern to the people. One of them told me yesterday when I mentioned here that how come in the Republic of Kenya, in Article 55, it gives the states the mandate to take measures, including affirmative action, to ensure that the youth are not only protected politically, socially, and economically, but also from harmful cultural practices. What the Gen Zs are asking is an implementation fully of that article, because that article actually allows the state to make access to education for them, to make access to employment for them, and to make access for training for them. That is the problem. So I want to invite Liziana from Cameroon to come and help us moderate the session for the Q&A to His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Welcome, Liziana.
Thank you so much. I mean, and as we all already know, young people in Africa, we make up, the largest, youngest population of the world, actually, and with over 70% of young people, that are under the age of 30, and this demographic, it presents a unique opportunity for innovation, economic growth, and development. And we heard, from His Excellencies that, young people, as particularly Gen Zs, we have a key role and a particular role, to play for young people in strengthening governance systems. So now, we're going to take this opportunity, and take you back to you guys, because young people, we have the power. He wants to hear from you guys. We'll take contributions as well as questions, and we're going to be limiting it to 1 minute each. And also, I would like to say that, let some of our contributions and questions, let it be respectful, and let it be very concise, okay? So we're going to limit it to 1 minute per person, and we'll also be taking contributions as well, in addition to questions. So where's the mic?
Your mic down there. There should be one.
Okay, so we taking a set of 3-3. So I'll take it. So I want to hear from those that we haven't heard. Okay, we've had. I know we have some new faces here today, and I'll start from back there. Tell us your name, where you're from, and you can proceed. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Enoch Kebaso. I'm a systems engineer. One question I want to ask His Excellency, Mr. Kalonzo Musyoka. What are the challenges you encountered? Because you said you entered into parliament while you were very young. You didn't have any money. What were challenges you encountered, and how can you, speak a little bit more about your debut into governorship and also legislation? Thank you.
I think you will start. We'll still remain at this row. I'll take another question from here.
Good afternoon, His Excellency. I have 3 questions. I have 3 questions. First of all, thank you for making peace for South Sudan during when you got independent. But the first question will be, I'm using the prophecy word, not if, but when. When you become the president, what will you do to specifically to your own party youth, and then to the African youth? Those are the questions I'm asking. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was told 3 questions per session, so let's hear from a lady, okay? A woman. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My question is based on the demonstration. Sometimes in 2020, we had what we call the EndSARS in Nigeria. And I must confess to you that it was great like this until it was hijacked. We obviously obviously know it's politicized, and then